whizbiz.com, and how nice that you want to follow along with this project, building my ultimate multi-power module. And let's talk about this component, which is to be found on most microcontroller boards. It's the voltage regulator. This is the onboard voltage regulator that, when needed, provides the necessary 5 or 3.3 volts from any higher supply voltage. Which is very handy, because that way you can just use any 9-volt adapter like this one to power up your project and let the Arduino make the necessary 5 volts that also may be used for other electronics you may have connected to it. But keep an eye on the total drawn current. Keep it less than 100 milliamps and don't connect too high a voltage, because things can go wrong, as you can see on these pictures. Remember that everything's been dissipated away as heat. Of course, you can try to solder in a new regulator yourself, like I did with this Arduino Pro Mini. The original regulator would have been able to handle up to 16 volts on the input, but it still broke down after some time with only 12 volts on the input. And as you can see, I've just replaced it with a non-SMD type regulator. So it might be handy that the Arduino is able to make its own voltages, but sooner or later you're gonna use discrete electronics or additional peripherals, and you need more voltages, and you won't do that with the normal Arduino regulator because it's getting way too hot. Or it just can't provide, for instance, 3.3 volts for an external sensor like this color sensor. And it even may be very useful for my own electronics workbench over here. So it's high time that I sum up what I would like if I would dream about my ultimate multi-power module. Well, first of all, it has to supply 3.3, 5, 9 and 12 volts. It might handle up to 1.5 amps, although most of my experiments are below 1 amp. Then voltage monitoring for all the voltages, or at least the 5, 9 and 12 volt main voltages. Milliamp precision in the monitoring and the measurements for the current. To keep track of the maximum current during a period, it would be nice if it has a current peak hold on the display. And an additional wish is a resettable automatic fuse. That would be very nice. And finally, although I realize that would be a real challenge, let's try to fit it all in a small Silberling case. Silberling, yes, Silberling, that traditional electronic module of fischertechnik. This is my 3D printed Silberling. Take a look at my other videos down my timeline here at YouTube for more information about this little thing. As you can see, it's only very small. It's around 3.5 by 7 centimeters inside. And the various voltages created by the Silberling module are also created with voltage regulators, and their disadvantage that they dissipate the excess voltage into heat. So remember, if you make 5 volts out of 12 with a 7805 voltage regulator, it has to get rid of 7 volts, and at half an amp that's already 3.5 watts of heat that has to be dissipated. A totally different approach would be using an LM2596. This is a well-known step-down voltage regulator that requires only a few additional parts and can deliver up to 3 amps of current with much less heat generation than the traditional 7800 series. Because it converts your DC voltage into AC first and then back again, it needs a coil. This is your input. It also has a very interesting input here, TTL level, I guess, to switch the whole thing on or off on the output. That might, of course, be very useful if you build your own programmable power supply with it. A little bit of study tells us that there are 4 models of this chip. There are versions for the voltages 3.3, 5 and 12 volts, and there is an adjustable one where the adjustment resistance can be made externally with a potentiometer. For less than 10 euros I bought a module that contains all these chip models. as you can see, I hope you can see and read the prints on the chips and see that they're all there. Although this module doesn't have a current or a voltage readout at all, it's interesting enough to take a look at. This is the adjustable output. I've put that to 9 volts now. So if we make 9 volts with the adjustable output, we have the others, covering all the requirements that we have for the 4 voltages that we desire. Let me tune it back to 9 volts. And perhaps it's a good thing to show you the other voltages as well. First chip to the left is the 3.3 version of it, and it gives 3.3 volts. Great. Second one is the 5 volt type, and we have the 12 volt type over here. So this is quite a nice module that could fix all our needs for the 4 voltages that we are looking for, but it still lacks a current readout, which might be something we can fix ourselves with these very common and easily available current and voltage displays. Small modules with 7 segments, LED readout, displaying both voltage and current. There is a little shunt in there. You can see it here, that it does its measurements over there. Problem is we need 4 of these, and they're not quite ideal because they have only 3 7-segment displays. This is a 10 amp model, so it can display up to 10 amps. The digital dot, however, is fixed at one of the positions, and the module is not auto-ranging. This means that the reading precision is in steps of 10 milliamps with this model. That's not very precise. If you, like me, mostly are working up in the 1 amp range. Probably it's more convenient to have all the readouts in one display. So let's first take a look at another module that I found with the same LM2596 in it. It's a fully programmable module, as you can see. Naturally, the adjustable LM2596 is used for this, and the settings can be made with these little push buttons over here. And it also uses the shutdown capability of the LM2596, so you can switch the output voltage on the output on or off at will. The readout is on a small 7 segments display. It's only the voltage that's being displayed there, and that display can be switched with one of the push buttons between displaying the input or the output voltage. Nice module, but in order to make 4 voltages as requested, we have to take 4 of these things. Moreover, it only displays the voltage and not the drawn current. But let's see what we can do with it. Let's go for 15 volts, around 15 volts on the input. It is currently displaying the output voltage, around 6 volts. And 15 volts going in there. We can display that on the display as well by pushing this button. Then it displays the input voltage over here. This is the output. So very nice. You can switch between input and output readout of your voltage. Let's push that little off button, and as you can see, because there's no load attached, it goes quite slowly, but it's going to 0 because I've switched it off. And on again. How handy is that? Okay, let's switch to another voltage. Weird enough, I have to use the left button to increment, and the right button is to decrement. I should say the other way around, but let's put it to 10 volts and go back to what we had. As you can see, the output nicely reflects 10 volts. Let's go back to 6 because I have a small DC motor laying around that we can use to give it some of a load and see if those current displays are working. Let me hook this on. One moment. Yeah. Well, there you have it. So motor is running and it's drawing around 0.5 amp. But you can see the digital point is still fixed over there and it doesn't give you milliamp readout. The best you get is a precision of 10 milliamps at a step over there. Let me try again and shut it off with the load attached to see if it really goes to 0 very quickly. Yes, it does. Well, okay, very nice module, but 4 of them, well, I will never ever get them into a Silberling case, so I guess I have to invent something myself again with an Arduino or something like that. I guess I will not even fit 2 of the displays in this case, let alone 4, and then this PCB and 4 of these. Well, I think I'll take a Arduino Pro Mini and a OLED display, just as I did with the Silberling. Okay, that goes in there, a display, and we need the SMD version of some kind of sensor. There must be some kind of sensor around that enables us to measure currents and voltages. Let's see. For instance, the INA219 is very popular. There are a lot of boards to be found, but it can only measure 1 bus. We want more, so why don't we take an INA3221? This is a 3-channel or 3-bus current sensor, and I found one on a ready-made PCB that's quite easily available, and that would be able to help me through my experiments to begin with. Here it is, the INA chip, and you immediately see the 3 shunt resistors here, big SMD type shunt resistors, and the 3 buses can be connected over here. After a little bit of study in the data sheets, I came to the conclusion that I had to fix this thing because the ground on each bus is interconnected. So each bus is connected to ground on one of the sides. For my particular use, that would be a problem, I guess. Let's take a look at the data sheets. This is the data for the INA3221 triple channel high side measurement shunt and bus voltage monitor with I2C and SM bus compatible interface, or what it's worth. And here we have a principal diagram, and the 3 resistors are the big SMD types you saw a moment ago. They're read into an ADC analog digital converter and to be read out over I2C. That's a communication bus. But the thing is, the load, the thing that we're gonna measure, this is our resistor on the PCB, but the load is between one side of this resistor and ground. So to make 3 independent buses, neither side of these load resistors, these shunt resistors, must be interconnected. So this is something different than they made the PCB. Fortunately, there's nothing we can't handle, so just cut those ground islands, those ground copper islands, and fix it with some wires to one side of the shunt resistors. You'll probably find instructions how to do this online, or you can buy an improved board. For me, at this very moment, this fix will be enough to test everything. In the end, I will compact things together on my own designed PCB. Alrighty, I've put the modified INA board on a breadboard here to test it out. Here it is. Also connected the display and made a small Arduino sketch to measure and display the 3 voltages. I can cycle through the 3 independent channels. You see LEDs that reflect the display status. And in the meantime, this gives me a great opportunity to ask you to subscribe if you like my videos. This will be a continuing story, so if you subscribe, you'll be notified when the next parts will be available. So this is only part 1, and well, we've come a long way and we handled a lot of stuff. Let me go more into detail in part 2 of this series. Just ignore the relay at the top of the breadboard. That's not working yet, but we have our 4 voltages and we can cycle through the measurements. And I also connected a 5 watt resistor to function as a load. It's above the orange push button. Let me push that load and push that button and connect that load to the output. Well, there you go. That's been measured correctly and displayed on the small display. Display and the INA chip, or must I say the modified or fixed INA board, are both readout over I2C bus. And the Arduino Pro Mini does a great job there. Okay, I think this will be my proof of concept for now. Let's take a look how far we are. My ultimate multi-power module. It supplies 3, 5, 9 and 12 volts. Check, check and double check. It monitors currents up to 1.5 amps. Did not test it yet, but I guess. Voltage monitoring, we got that in place for 5, 9 and 12 volts. And the display displays milliamp precision. We have a resettable current peak hold on the display. Didn't demonstrate it yet, but it's there already in software. And then we'll have our extra wish. Well, we'll look into that in part 2 of this video series. And last but not least, I think we're in part 3 then. Let's see if we can all fit it on our own custom designed PCBs in a Silberling case. For now, in any case, I hope I've already tickled your interest and that you continue this quest for a ultimate multi-power module with me in the next part. Hope to see you in part 2 of this video. Until then, happy hacking!